Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from kicksoncourt.com. Today we have another performance review and is on the K1X anti-gravity. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. First things first, this is an outdoor specific basketball shoe. It can be used indoors for sure. However, it was designed with the main intent of being played with outdoors. My review was done with them being played indoors. However, I will explain any differences or similarities between the two surfaces. Now to start it off, here is the traction. It reminds me a lot of Nike's Blade traction, and personally I think that this worked perfectly fine. When you were indoors on a clean surface, as usual, it worked perfect, no complaints whatsoever. And then when we were on, it was kind of a weird situation when this one night there was a band that was playing on the gym floor and they had like baby powder. Somehow they got it all over the damn place, and everybody on the court was slipping except for me. Somehow this thing just kind of pushed the baby powder aside and it still gripped the floor, which was awesome, and had a small advantage that night. But so yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. And then there was another night where I played with these in my league floor, and that floor just has too much debris and it was getting caught in all of these little areas, and it was basically creating a surface between my rubber sole and the floor itself, so I was slipping quite a bit. So on multiple different surfaces, this worked anywhere between great to decent. So basically, if you're going to use these on an outdoor surface, I would recommend a rough court surface. Those tennis court kind of things, I don't know if it would work too well on there unless those are kept really, really clean. One of the best parts is that, again, because this is an outdoor shoe, the rubber will last you a long time. It's very thick. I know that's hard to see because everything is one color, but it is a very thick and durable rubber outsole, so that is definitely a plus as well. In terms of cushion, we have a dual density foam setup. You have targeted sections in the heels over here, in the heel and in the forefoot, and then you also have a lightweight foam carrier. The foam itself is very comfortable. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see the creases at all, but the outer layer of the foam is comfortable alone. And then when you start to add in the dual density setup, it becomes increasingly more comfortable, especially when you're starting to run around. The best thing to compare it to would be Li-Ning's Way of Wade. I know that those aren't available for everybody, so that pretty much does absolutely nothing for you as far as like an actual comparison. However, I think that it has a good amount of shock absorption, impact absorption, and all that kind of stuff, along with some comfort. It does lack some responsiveness because it is a foam, but it is very, very comfortable. So if I were to compare it to anything, I'd still say that it's just not quite as good as say a Lunarlon or a Cushlon, but it is definitely up there in terms of like Adiprene and EVA. The materials themselves are pretty weird. It's a synthetic upper the entire way up. However, the upper is kind of mimics leather, in which that it's pliable and all that stuff after your breaking time. Breaking time is pretty short. It doesn't hurt or anything like that. It's just, you know, pretty quick. That's probably, you know, it has a lot to do with the lack of ventilation, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, the coat over it is this like kind of like rubbery kind of material. It's kind of strange, but it's durable as hell. It doesn't show much wear and tear, whether it's scuffs, marks, creases, and so on. So again, this is an outdoor specific shoe, and it is built to be played in outdoors. It's built to, you know, it's built tough. So if you hoop in outdoors, this is definitely going to be an option for you. This has an upper that is actually designed, unlike today's basketball shoes with synthetic fuses and plastics and things like that, where it's just one whole piece. This actually has overlays and panels, which is great because this is the way that shoes used to be designed. Again, I know that you can't tell the design too much because of the solid color. If there was some more color placements in there, it probably would show off its attributes a little bit better. But that's pretty much what it is. You know, you got that old school toe bumper, you have overlay support panels and things like that. So I think that the materials are great, they're durable, they're flexible enough, and they actually support you. So in my opinion, I think the materials are great. The overall fit, I'd say that these things run slightly wide, so what I ended up doing was getting a size down. I got a 8.5 instead of a 9, and after a short break in time, they were perfectly fine. You know, like I said, this material kind of mimics leather with that like rubbery kind of coat on the overlay. So I think that the fit, if you want to play it safe, just get your regular size. If you have wide feet, you're actually going to like these because they'll be able to accommodate you just fine. If you have like narrow feet like myself, you might want to consider going down half a size just to get that snug and contained fit. You don't have to, but that's just my personal preference, is that I really like my shoes to fit perfectly, so my toes are literally like right at the edge. If you do not like that fit, then get your regular size. As far as the lockdown is concerned, it's pretty much perfect all the way around. From front to back, I have absolutely no complaints whatsoever. The heel is locked in, the forefoot and midfoot's locked in. There's no sliding or anything. It's probably one of the most contained shoes I've had in quite a while. It was made of, I don't know how to explain it. It was made like this, where it mimics leather. This and like the Li-Ning, again, these are real comparable to the Li-Ning way of Wade's. So those two shoes are probably like the two shoes made with almost a raw material, where it didn't affect the fit whatsoever. So like you didn't have that sloppy fit. You had like a one-to-one fit like you would get with a plastic or a fuse. As far as the ventilation is concerned, you can see that the entire upper is perforated. However, it doesn't allow too much airflow whatsoever. It just kind of allows some heat to escape. Most of your ventilation is actually coming from the tongue itself, which is very, very similar to Nike's torch material that you'd find on the Kobe 5 and Kobe 6. I thought that this was great. However, the rest of it wasn't so great. But it does actually play into the break-in process, where this material is kind of got that rubbery coat, like I was saying earlier a couple times, and with the lack of ventilation, it actually allowed that break-in process to become a lot quicker. So if there wasn't as little ventilation as there is in this shoe, it probably would have taken me a little bit more time to break in, and it would have been a little uncomfortable. So sometimes ventilation or lack of ventilation actually works in favor of the sneaker. Sometimes it doesn't. So, you know, it is what it is, but in this particular situation it actually helped out. In terms of overall support, basically you have the torsional shank plate, which is right here on the bottom. So this is pretty standard on most shoes at this point. So you just have torsional rigidity. Man, I always flub that. So basically what that means is that you're not able to completely turn or twist this area, so you're not going to injure yourself, and then it also allows for some rigidness right here, so you're not going to overextend your arch. And you know, I have no complaints. It works perfectly fine whether it's carbon fiber or TPU. Carbon fiber is just a little bit lighter, but you know, personally, you don't really notice it. So the rest of the support is coming from the upper and that fit, and like I was saying in the fit section, the lockdown was just pretty much perfect. So I have no complaints whatsoever. The support was awesome. You were caged in completely. And for those of you that always complain, because there are some of you that do, that one shoe has it and one shoe doesn't in terms of outriggers, this shoe actually does. It is fairly pronounced as well. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but that sticks out quite a bit. And I haven't seen an outrigger like this on a sneaker since probably the Kobe 5. Brief recap. I thought the traction was pretty good depending on the court conditions, so overall I'd give it a solid 8. The dual density foam cushion was pretty nice, especially after the break-in period. Not quite as responsive as an air cushion like Zoom, but still just as nice nonetheless, and it does offer plenty of impact and protection. So with that being said, I give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. If you're looking for durability, the materials on these are very, very nice. It's got that rubbery kind of coat. Doesn't show much wear at all, and it's going to last you. So materials overall, solid 9. In my personal opinion, I thought that the fit was just a little bit on the wide side. That's great for most people, not so great for someone like myself or for narrow footers. However, once you get that shoe to fit you properly, it's got one of the best lockdown and secured fits that you can get on a shoe. So with that being said, I give the fit a solid 9 out of 10. Yes, the ventilation isn't that great. Yes, it actually is a plus in this particular shoe, but since we're scoring everything evenly like we do with all sneakers in a non-biased fashion, ventilation gets a solid 5 out of 10. And the overall support is a solid 8. Not really much to be said. It's got torsional support as well as some supportive fit from the overlays and upper material. So again, just a solid 8 out of 10. The overall score came out to 7.91. Basically, I'm just going to round that up a little bit, and it's going to be a solid 8 out of 10. And personally, I really enjoyed the shoe. This is definitely going to be something that I take with me to the outdoor courts. It's going to allow me to retire my Air Jordan 2010s, which have been used quite often. So, but yeah, so this is definitely my new outdoor shoe, and I personally really like them. They are going to be available in the U.S. Starting I think from the 1st of May. So if you're interested in the K1X brand, you can check them out at the link below in the description box, and that's pretty much it. So if you want any more information or you just need to check up on comparables to this shoe to a next shoe, you can go to my site, K1X. So with that being said, thank you guys very much. Thanks for all your support, and until next time guys, have a good one.